Hey, I'm Jessica. If you love cars as much as I do, you're in the right place. From drifting car days to uncovering the world's most iconic rides, gear up and subscribe to Race with Jessica for non-stop car fun.
Imagine finding out that the automaker behind your car is imploding, and neither the brand nor your dealer ever told you a thing. Sales are collapsing, dealerships are shutting down, model lineups are vanishing, and owners are left stranded with cars that tank in value. Today, we're counting down the 6 car brands that are on the brink of extinction. Whether it's because of catastrophic sales collapses, disastrous corporate decisions, or simply being crushed by relentless competition. And here's the most shocking part. The number 1 brand on this list continues to have loyal fans despite being an absolute crisis. Stay until the end, because what I'm about to reveal is something dealers don't want you to know. So, let's get going. Let's start with an Italian luxury brand that was supposed to compete with BMW and Mercedes, but became a cautionary tale instead. Yes, coming in at number 6 is Acura, Honda's luxury division that was created to take on the European giants in the premium market. The promise was simple: Japanese engineering and reliability without the German price tag. Sharp styling, advanced technology, premium features, all positioned to compete directly with the best. On paper, the strategy sounded perfect. It was supposed to be attainable luxury. But here's the problem: luxury buyers aren't just looking for value. They want prestige and brand cachet. And that's where Acura fell short. Many still see it as a fancy Honda in an expensive wrapper. The sales numbers tell a brutal story. Through the first half of 2025, Acura moved just 64,000 units in the United States, a 13% drop from the previous year. That figure pales in comparison to Lexus's 160,000 units or Mercedes's 150,000 units during the same period. A redesigned grille or updated tech isn't enough to attract luxury buyers. Acura still struggles for brand identity and differentiation, both of which are essential for a luxury mark. The ownership experience has been disappointing too. Luxury buyers expect exclusive dealerships and premium service. In 2025, Acura discontinued production of the TLX, one of its core sedans. Their lineup is shrinking fast. The Integra, despite its iconic nameplate, saw sales drop 28% through the first quarter of 2025. Even the MDX, their best-selling model, fell 16%. The brand is shifting entirely to SUVs as sedan sales collapse across the board. The tariffs made things worse, as imported parts drove prices up even higher. Their electrification strategy is uncertain. The ZDX electric SUV hasn't captured buyers' attention, and the brand has no clear roadmap for the EV transition. So, if you're thinking about buying an Acura right now, think twice. But if you think this brand is struggling, the next one shows how an iconic name can lose its identity overnight. At number 5, we have Dodge. There was a time when owning a Dodge wasn't just buying a car, it was buying American muscle and attitude. Dodge was the muscle car king. Known for its roaring V8 engines, iconic models like the Charger and Challenger, and unmatched performance, it was the symbol of American automotive power. However, today Dodge is just a shadow of what it once was, and that's putting it mildly. The brand killed off the Charger and Challenger in 2023, ending an era that defined its identity. The new electric Charger Daytona launched in 2025, but it's been met with skepticism from the brand's core enthusiast base who want V8 thunder, not electric silence. Sales have been plummeting over the years, and recent figures are concerning. Through the third quarter of 2025, Dodge sold just over 7,000 units of the new Charger Daytona EV. The Durango SUV is practically the only model keeping the brand alive. Dealers are frustrated with nothing to sell. The transition was absolutely disastrous. The brand that defined American muscle went all in on electrification without giving customers what they wanted. The infamous rebrand abandoned decades of brand equity and heritage overnight. The reactions were brutal, and dealers are closing. Parent company Stellantis is now kept afloat by Jeep and Ram, which continue to sell more strongly. Dodge vehicles were never known for reliability either. The brand ranks near the bottom in dependability surveys. Repair costs are high, and quality issues are well documented. Dodge didn't die because it was outdated. It died because it abandoned what made it special. If you were planning to buy one of their models, whether it's new or used, seriously reconsider your decision. If you think that was bad, wait. The next brand on the list was once an Italian performance icon. Coming in at number 4 is a brand that once represented Italian luxury and prestige at an accessible price point. It gave us beautiful designs and European flair. Yes, I'm talking about Alfa Romeo, a brand that once stood for style, passion, and driving pleasure. That brand is now fighting for survival. In 2018, Alfa Romeo sold almost 24,000 units in the US. But 7 years later, that figure fell to just over 6,000 units through the first half of 2025, a catastrophic decline in volume. And 2025 made things even worse. The brand's dealer network collapsed. Alfa Romeo dropped from 150 dealerships in the US to just 110 by early 2025, and more are closing. The brand warned that if sales don't improve, they'll lose even more dealers. Alfa Romeo's lineup today is barely holding on. What remains is the Giulia sedan, Stelvio SUV, and Tonale compact SUV, but all 3 models posted double-digit sales declines in 2025. The Giulia fell 32%. The Stelvio dropped 40%. Even the new Tonale fell 28%. Their products are outperformed by competitors on all fronts. Although Alfa Romeo has heritage and passion, the ownership story hasn't been trouble-free. Many owners report electrical issues, transmission problems, quality control defects, and expensive repairs. And if you think Alfa Romeo's problems end there, that's only half the picture. Alfa Romeo has been losing credibility for years. The brand ranks 29th out of 31 in Consumer Reports reliability rankings. Multiple recalls for brake failures, power loss issues, and quality defects have shattered buyer confidence. Alfa Romeo has 193 days supply of unsold vehicles, one of the worst in the entire industry. The brand recently scrapped its EV-only strategy after realizing it was commercial suicide. The collapse was so severe that parent company Stellantis is considering shutting down the brand entirely if it can't turn profitable by 2026. Today, Alfa Romeo is a brand that lost its way and has no clear vision. The badge still has prestige, but the cars today don't live up to it. It's no surprise that their models lose value fast. So, if you're considering buying an Alfa Romeo right now, think carefully. The next brand on this list was supposed to be the pinnacle of Italian luxury. And no, I'm not talking about Ferrari. Number 3 belongs to Maserati. At one point, Maserati looked like Italy's answer to Porsche and Aston Martin. Their models appealed to luxury buyers who wanted exotic Italian style with genuine performance credentials. Their powerful engines were as thrilling as they were beautiful. Cars like the Quattroporte, Gran Turismo, and MC20 shaped the brand's modern era. Maserati wasn't just another luxury brand. It had soul, passion, and a loyal following. However, today, they are a brand running on borrowed time. In 2023, Maserati sold 26,600 vehicles globally. By 2025, that figure fell to just 11,300 units, a staggering 50% collapse in just 1 year. In the first half of 2025, sales dropped another 32% to just 4,300 units worldwide. In response to the catastrophic sales collapse, parent company Stellantis pulled 1.5 billion euros of planned investment from Maserati in early 2025. Models are disappearing too. The Ghibli, Quattroporte, and Levante were all discontinued without replacements. What remains is the Grecale SUV, Gran Turismo sports car, and MC20 supercar. All 3 are struggling to find buyers. Problems with electrical systems, transmission failures, and build quality haunted the lineup. Thousands of vehicles were recalled for different issues like engine failures, power loss, brake defects, and safety problems. These shattered buyer confidence, and resale values collapsed as a result. Maserati's future is uncertain. CEO Santo Facili admitted 2025 would be a down year, and profitability won't return until 2028 at the earliest. but many industry analysts doubt the brand will survive that long. Parent company Stellantis is reviewing whether to keep funding Maserati or shut it down entirely. So, if you're planning to buy a luxury car for the long term, Maserati shouldn't be anywhere near your list. The cars themselves might be beautiful, but buying into a brand that's collapsing is an enormous risk. If you think this collapse only happens to small luxury brands, think again. The next name on this list was once a household name across America. At number 2, we have Fiat, a brand that was once beloved for its charming compact cars and Italian style. For decades, Fiat represented affordable European flair that didn't break the bank. The iconic Fiat 500 became a cultural symbol. They promised fun, efficient, stylish city cars that stood out from the crowd. Fiat wasn't just a car brand, it was a lifestyle choice. The badge used to represent Italian design and personality. Back in 2014, when Fiat returned to America, they had big ambitions and sold over 46,000 units. However, by 2025, that number collapsed to barely 5,000 units, a catastrophic 90% decline from peak. And 2025 is set to be even worse. Sales are on track to hit their lowest levels ever. While its competitors modernized their lineups, Fiat kept aging platforms and refused to update products. The Fiat 500X crossover, one of the last models available, was finally discontinued in North America. The 500e electric hatchback isn't compelling enough to save the brand. Stellantis temporarily halted production of the 500e in late 2025 due to weak demand. The brand now sells virtually nothing in the United States. Rivals like the Mini Cooper, Volkswagen Golf, and Mazda MX-5 offer better tech, more reliability, and much lower depreciation. It's no surprise that Fiat sales collapsed. The dealership network collapsed entirely. Most Fiat standalone stores closed years ago, with remaining inventory dumped at multi-brand Stellantis dealers. Former Fiat owners report nightmare service experiences and impossible parts availability. Today, Fiat is a brand with no future in America, and that's not speculation. Industry experts say Fiat will officially exit the US market by the end of 2026. It's the owners who take the biggest hit. Stuck with vehicles that plummet in value, zero technical service support, and impossible availability of spare parts. Buying a Fiat today comes with a very real risk of ending up with a vehicle completely abandoned by its manufacturer. If you thought that was bad enough, the next brand proves that even luxury giants are not immune to disaster. The brand that takes the number 1 spot on this list is one that will shock a lot of people, and for good reason. For decades, this brand was synonymous with luxury, elegance, and British heritage. Their vehicles defined what it meant to drive a true gentleman's sports car. However, today this brand is staring at extinction. Yes, you heard that right. The number 1 brand on this list is Jaguar. At number 1, we have Jaguar, a brand that defined British automotive excellence for nearly a century. Known for elegant sedans, roaring sports cars, and unmistakable style, Jaguar was the choice of celebrities, royalty, and enthusiasts worldwide. Jaguars weren't just cars. They were automotive art. The E-Type is still considered one of the most beautiful cars ever made. For decades, owning a Jaguar meant you had taste, style, and sophistication. However, today the brand is in danger of complete collapse. In 2025, Jaguar sold just 13,210 vehicles in the United States. That may sound like a number, but it's actually catastrophic for a luxury brand. To put that in perspective, Porsche sold over 76,000 units in the same market during the same year. Sales worldwide went down from 130,000 units in 2018 to barely 50,000 units in 2025. And the brand essentially shut down operations in 2025 to prepare for a complete reinvention. The F-Pace SUV was the last remaining model before production stopped. Jaguar pulled the plug on the entire lineup, including the XE, XF, F-Type, I-Pace, and E-Pace across global markets, including the US. The automaker is betting everything on a dramatic pivot to all-electric luxury, but the EVs won't arrive until late 2026 at the earliest. Dealers are left with nothing to sell for over a year. A brand that once stood for heritage and tradition now has no strategy and no products. Jaguar's downfall didn't happen overnight. The rebrand was absolutely disastrous. The iconic Leaping Cat logo was replaced by something critics called soulless corporate design. Their infamous rebrand advertisement crushed decades of brand image and legacy in seconds. The reactions were brutal, and CEO Adrian Mardell stepped down months after. Several dealerships are closing permanently, and parent company JLR is now kept alive almost entirely by Land Rover, which continues to sell strongly. Jaguars were never known for reliability either. Multiple recalls for engine failures, electrical defects, and safety problems destroyed whatever confidence remained. The recent events have obliterated customer trust. And it's no surprise resale values are in free fall. Unless their new EVs perform absolute miracles when they finally arrive, Jaguar risks fading into history as another failed British car brand. Jaguar didn't die because it was outdated. It died because it abandoned everything that made it special. If you were planning to buy one of their models, whether new or used, seriously reconsider your decision. Now it is your move, so let me know in the comments which brand on this list surprised you the most. And if this breakdown made you rethink buying in 2026, you should also watch our video on 7 shocking reasons the 2026 Hyundai Santa Cruz is not worth your money. Catch you in the next one.